Doug Cahill from TechTarget's Enterprise Strategy Group here again for our final video in this video series. Now that we've looked at what the research tells us about buyer spending intentions, let's drill in further, take a closer look at how this expressed in terms of actual buying behavior. So there's a lot to talk about here because fortunately we have an abundance of data sources available to us. For example, via TechTarget's project confirmation capabilities, we know that the number of qualified projects has increased, so more good news. By unpacking that further, we can also see that 57% of buyers are now considering more vendors than they did before the pandemic, and as many as 71% have switched vendors in the last year. Wow. So what's happening here when it comes to the lack of loyalty? It's in part due to the industry shift to subscription-based pricing and packaging models. This reality really underscores the fact that while new customer acquisition is, of course, always important, retention is likewise critical in achieving annual recurring revenue, net recurring revenue, or lifetime value of customer objectives that are expected by investors in today's as-a-service economy. So this also means that go-to-market teams have to carefully balance funnel focus between clearly conveying value and differentiation for more total at-bats atop a funnel, but at the same time, delivering a maniacal focus on customer success metrics to assure stickiness to enable up and cross-sell motions. So I know I'm showing a lot of statistics in these videos, but here's one to think especially hard about. 91% of organizations are more likely to purchase from a vendor who educated them about a certain topic. So the quality of your content is going to impact both new consideration as well as the continued loyalty of existing customers. Also, based on our recent media consumption research, we found that 83% of buyers do substantial research online. That might seem quite obvious, but how does it actually play out in terms of hours spent at conducting this research? So on average, they spend 6 hours researching a given topic. That's a lot of time. Why is that? Let's take a topic like zero trust. Okay, so zero trust is really topical in the cybersecurity market right now. And researching zero trust could mean researching network security, typically microsegmentation. Or in identity and access management context, it could mean researching adaptive authentication or maybe passwordless. Let's take cloud native. So most organizations we know, enterprises, are now refactoring their business applications into cloud native applications. So researching cloud native, however, could lead a buyer to read content on methodologies like agile software development and DevOps and continuous integration and continuous delivery, as well as related technologies, microservices, containers, and Kubernetes. So what type of content is most valuable to educate these buyers? So notably, 62% of these online research efforts concentrate on third-party content sources as opposed to what vendors are producing themselves. Content is indeed central to the buyer's journey. Think about this dynamic of content as the digital sales rep. Okay, so where do we see buyer research happening? That is, where are buyers going to get the information that they need? Because of the way that their algorithms work, Google sends people to the most popular sites, of course. And so in enterprise tech especially, searches commonly lead buyers to independent media publisher sites like TechTarget, to analyst firm sites, as well as to the best content-driven vendor sites and so on. While these digital watering holes aren't mutually exclusive, scale has a huge impact. So for example, TechTarget's traffic, which is currently at an all-time high, has 8 times the organic traffic from Google relative to the nearest other publisher. Okay, so what does all this online research mean with respect to legacy sales models? And what do we mean exactly when we say content is the digital sales rep? Well, according to a recent Harvard Business School report, 43% of buyers now prefer an entirely sales rep-free buying experience. And when we unpack this further, what's especially telling about the future of sales engagement models is how this number shakes out demographically. While only 29% of baby boomers prefer a sales rep-free buying experience, over half, 54% of millennials prefer it to more traditional models. So, as baby boomers age out, I'm barely not one for the record, and Gen Xers, millennials, and even Gen Zers take on more technology decisions, sales-less or at least sales-like go-to-market models and go-to-market motions will become more and more prevalent. Okay, what does that mean for technology vendors right now? So at a minimum, you need to be where these buyers prefer to educate themselves on a topic. You need to be present in the formats that these buyers prefer to consume. That means that you'll need to build all types of contents that is on point for your persona, clear and conveying your value proposition, laying out defensible points of differentiation, and activated in the right channels and again in the right form factors. You need to engage your audiences and keep them engaged, which means increasingly video content as well as graphic intensive contents such as ebooks. So looking forward, while teams might expect and even hope that this behavioral trajectory is confined to smaller, more transactional solutions, that's also changing. According to a recent McKinsey report, 62%, so almost two-thirds of their respondents, are willing to spend $50,000 or more on online purchases. So this trend is absolutely not confined to small shadow IT purchases that somebody in the dev team put on their credit card. And that means that any company with a platform-based land and expand model will need to embrace self-service, sales-less, and online transaction capabilities, including, for example, online marketplaces. Okay, hey, so in wrapping up this series, let me leave you by reiterating a couple of these key points, really as a call to action for everybody in the industry, for CIOs, decision makers, chief marketing officers, product marketing teams, demand gen teams. Here are the key points. Technology investments fuel innovation across all industries, and those organizations with more mature digital transformation programs not only know this, but they plan to double down and increase their spend on technology. The as a service economics of the technology market necessitates that go to market models adapt. Similarly, the shift in buyer demographics also requires adapting to how current and future decision makers want to engage. So it's a call to action, again, for vendors to get their value proposition in front of the right buyers at the right time, in the right place, and in the right formats. Hey, so I've been in tech for over 30 years. And like many of you, I've seen downturns before, the dot bomb bust of the late 1990s and the economic crisis of 2009 when, well, I used to say that, flat was the new up. And, even though the economic climate is uncertain, technology has never had a more central role in driving positive business outcomes for organizations across all industries and across all geos. And it's going to be those organizations who really lean in and make the right investments and the smart moves who will thrive. If you want to discuss this or any other topics of interest, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact me directly. Thanks for watching.